But what happened to me as a young man, my best friend, my nephew, the one individual in a family, and maybe you can relate to this, but the one individual in our family that's most likely to succeed. The doctor, the lawyer, that was my nephew. And at age 24, he died of a drug overdose. And just before that happened, he and I spent the day together. And not one time did I challenge him on his drug abuse. So as I sat in front of these 20 men every week, as I have for the last 200 weeks, going through about 160 men that come in here from virtually every walk of life, I've made one commitment to myself. I'm not going to leave here without telling them what they need to do to change their life.
I broke my back in 2002, got hooked on pain pills, and I had a wife at the time, and she was pregnant with my daughter, Greenlee. And I couldn't get off the pain pills. She left me, went downhill from there. My mother passed away 6 years ago this November, and I just took a dark turn then, hooked on pain pills, and lost my home that I was living in and ended up in the woods back here behind the Salvation Army 3 years, 6 months, and 6 days ago.
The Salvation Army has been a hospital, if you will, for many men and women that come through here looking for salvation, both in this life and the afterlife.
So the Salvation Army, when I first walked through that door, they gave me hope that I didn't have. I was hopeless, they gave me hope. Nick Aroki said, "Brandon, I believe you can do this," right when I walked through the door. And that gave me the hope I needed, right? I was desperate. They gave me a safe place to go. I had no safe place to go. They gave me a roof over my head and food and everything I needed, right? They gave me everything I needed. And at first it's just relax because I was in a safe place. I wasn't scared anymore. I didn't think I was going to die anymore. And then they give you, slowly, they inject a spiritual life into you.
What's interesting about the men that are going through the recovery program is that we can talk about statistics that 80,000 men or people die every year due to alcohol abuse. About 70,000 people die every year due to drug abuse. And as bad as those things are, when Brandon and I sit in a room behind closed doors, and we hear someone tell us their personal story of heartache, headache, broken relationships, a broken spirit, it's really hard to remember those national numbers because on a personal level, we see what alcohol and drugs can do to individuals.
We didn't talk about Dennis. We talked about me. And he was interested in what I had to say, and I knew that because he would prove it the next week by following up with it. Okay, so this happened, where are you at now? Are you moving on? Let's try this, and advice. He is my #1 mentor, and he has changed my life forever.
The more you get involved, the more we are involved, the more we see the actual work that's being done. I think what brought me here initially is compassion for other people, but as we get involved with actually what's going on in the Salvation Army, it becomes a much deeper compassion, and it actually turns into a compassion along with commitment.
And if you want to get involved and see where that money goes, you can. You can get involved and see. Not only, it's great to give money, but isn't it better to know where it goes and be able to see the lives that it's changing? And it's happening in your community. It's happening in everybody's community. Do you want to see it?
Playing Gift really secures the future for the Salvation Army to continue doing this good work, this doing good for others for many generations to come.
the money goes to the right place. Say you want to give a donation and you want it to go to the rehab because you have your son that is suffering from alcoholism and you want that help for him there someday, and you want to see that, and it goes there. It goes right to that rehab, right? And it's helping these men change their life. And even if it's just one person, isn't it worth it? Yeah.
Peter Drucker, famed business management expert, the inventor of this concept called management by objectives, he wrote a book one time. And in this book, he said that the Salvation Army is the most efficient organization in the United States. That's amazing. Especially when it comes to clarity of mission, the ability to innovate, to measure results, and a dedication of putting money to the maximum use in serving others. I think that the results of the local Salvation Army that I'm involved with here in Northwest Arkansas mirror exactly what Peter Drucker wrote in his book.
Before the Salvation Army, I had zero hope. I had no sense of purpose. I had no accomplishment at the end of the day. Because of the Salvation Army, I have a purpose. I have a sense of accomplishment. And at the end of the day, I can look back and say, this is life-changing. This is beautiful. God is beautiful.
There's going to come a time when I'm not going to be here. There'll come a time when you're not going to be here. When we're not able to personally impact and we're not here personally to serve the Salvation Army in doing the most good. For me and my family, there's no better legacy than to support the most effective organization in America in doing the most good with a planned gift.